Thank you, Chair and Ranking Member, for holding this hearing. I, too, want to take a brief opportunity to express sadness at the loss of my friend and colleague, Don Payne, Jr. He was a fierce advocate for the traveling public. He was a friend to everyone who knew him. I will miss him as well. Turning to today's hearing, electric vehicles are steadily increasing on the nation's roadways, moving both people and goods. Today's hearing focuses on fleet electrification efforts across the passenger vehicle, trucking, and transit sectors. Each of these modes have unique needs and challenges that must be addressed to support a smooth transition to a cleaner and greener surface transportation system. And I would note, perhaps minus some of the rhetoric from the chair, I agree with a lot of his criticisms about how quickly things are moving. We might also differ on solutions, but I don't disagree with some of the challenges that you've laid out. But I would note that fleet electrification is not only good for the climate, it's critical to enhancing our nation's economic competitiveness. The International Energy Agency reports that the number of electric cars sold globally in the first 3 months of this year is roughly equivalent to the number sold in all of 2020. In 24, EVs could reach up to 45% of new car sales in China, 25% in Europe. In the US, that projection is just over 10%. And America's economic competitors are investing in EVs. The U.S. can't take a back seat in this race. Electric and plug-in hybrid vehicle registrations reached record levels in my home state last year, with Washington State seeing the biggest increase in the EV market share of any state. The bipartisan infrastructure law is supporting the adoption of EVs in Washington State and nationwide by providing funding and supporting domestic manufacturing supply chains for critical minerals, including $7.5 billion for EV charging infrastructure, $10 billion for electrification across other transportation modes, and $7 billion in EV battery components and critical minerals. This funding is critical to filling initial market gaps, supporting broader deployment, and enhancing domestic supply chains. Policy changes in the BIL, including new Stronger Buy America standards for EV chargers, are ensuring this funding goes further to support domestic manufacturing. Just 3 years ago, the production of fast chargers was almost non-existent. Now there are at least 26 companies manufacturing these products within the U.S. Last week, I attended an EV charger installation and training event at the Mount Vernon Library Commons in my district. This event showcased how $12.5 million from the BIL Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Grant Program is being used to install 78 public EV charging ports at the Library Commons project. This event also featured an installation demonstration in partnership with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 191 and the private sector National Electrical Contractors Association Cascade chapter. These organizations partnered to provide training for journeymen, apprentices, and other electrical workers under the collective bargaining agreements in the EV industry. This is an example how shows that investing in fleet electrification can benefit U.S. workers and create jobs that pay well. Also in my district, truck manufacturer PACCAR is using their test center, which is located at the Port of Skagit, and which Chair Graves and I visited along with Representative Brownlee and DeSaulnier last year. They're using their test center to validate the next generation of clean commercial vehicles, and I'm sure that they would love to have any other member of Congress visit their facility to see what this major truck manufacturer is doing on clean commercial vehicles. Today, they offer 6 battery electric truck models and are developing technologies including hydrogen fuel cell electric trucks and internal combustion engines running on hydrogen to get ahead of the market. While access to EV chargers has grown significantly, up nearly 85% in 3 years, almost all of this growth, though, has been driven by private investment. A lot of work remains to ensure communities receive the full benefit of BIL funding. To date, states have opened, and the chair recognized this, have opened only 8 charging stations through the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or NEVI program, leading to legitimate questions and criticism of publicly funded charger deployments, ones that can be answered. The slow pace of deployment is partly because the administration took time to ensure these chargers will be made in the U.S. by U.S. workers and to establish standards to create a consistent user experience at the stations. However, as we'll hear in today's testimony, because NEVI projects are delivered by state DOTs, the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, a patchwork of program requirements is complicated deployment. Private businesses looking to build out EV chargers must navigate 52 unique programs, which has slowed deployment and caused confusion. So I urge the Federal Highway Administration and the newly created Joint Office of Energy and Transportation to update the guidance to make this process more uniform. Electrification challenges are not unique to passenger vehicles. The trucking and transit sectors are working to transition their fleets and face challenges with the range, cost, and a limited number of manufacturers. On the other hand, and certainly in transit, they seem to be navigating this fairly well. Through innovation and collaboration between the public and private sector, I believe the U.S. can overcome these challenges, deliver benefits for the economy, the environment, and for U.S. workers. So we're still in the early stages of this major transition. It won't be as simple as flipping a switch, apologize for that pun, and the federal government will continue to play an important role. BIL initiatives are starting to fill in gaps in the market and support the onshoring of the manufacturing process. Congress and the administration must work with global partners to secure supply chains for critical minerals that are essential to EVs and infrastructure. For instance, a newly announced effort between the U.S. and Norway to get a critical minerals agreement. Without continued federal support and action, the U.S. risks falling further behind our competitors in a crucial industry, something no one wants. So I want to thank the witnesses for being here today, and I look forward to the discussion. That I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Now I want to welcome our witnesses and thank them for being here today. Before